I'm Stu Allen, this is Stiff Right Hand, and my special guest this week is the matriarch of the Knight dynasty, Sweet Saraya Knight. Hello, I'm Stu Allen, welcome to Stiff Right Hand. I'm here with the wife. Hello, Tanya.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, I'm feeling a little bit tired.
Well, we've been up late, haven't we?
We've been up very late.
It's been
very exciting.
Well, we've just come off the back of an incredible weekend with War and Bellatrix up in Norwich. What a time that was. You had your highly anticipated match with Mercedes Martinez.
I bloody did, and it was a good one, wasn't it?
It was a belter. It was a hell of a match. A lot of people say match of the night.
Well, yeah, it has been thrown around a few hundred times.
It has, and there's I noticed your Twitter following has far exceeded mine. And everyone's adding you now, and you've got to meet Medusa as well.
Oh my god, she's so fucking cool. Oh, but she's like ridiculously cool. Like, she's like beautiful and cool, and she drives monster trucks, and she knows about wrestling, and she like basically paved the way for every female wrestler in the world. But you know, whatever. She drives monster trucks, and she's so freaking cool.
She was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah,
she was lovely, classy lady. Slightly, a little bit nuts, I think.
I know, she's bonkers.
She was a little bit sun-kissed and loony, but she was very cool. And I said to her, I've just got into the podcasting one. I said, I love your podcast, and she looked at me and went, really? As if, like, did anyone listen to that? she was baffled that it seemed that I was wondering whether I was talking to the right fucking person. It seemed like she didn't even know about her own podcast. It was peculiar, but yeah, she was really cool, and that was it was just an incredible weekend all in all. It was, Bellatrix is a fine promotion, and they did this collaboration with Rise and Shimmer, the two big companies in the States, and brought them over to go against the UK girls, and obviously you were one of them, and got the grandstand match really against Mercedes, and so how did you feel it went?
I was pretty frustrated because it took me a while to just like warm up into it, because I was so nervous. And I wasn't nervous about my opponent per se. Like, as my trainer, you'll know this to be true, but I get really, really intimidated by circumstance. And occasion, I think, is probably the right word. And because it was such a big, important show with just like so much money put into production and all the live streaming and everything, it was just sort of like, I just got really wrapped up in my head with like wanting to do such a good fucking job.
Yeah.
Like, that knocked me for like the first 2 or 3 minutes of the match, but as soon as I'd warmed up into it, like, she had some fucking hell to deal with. So.
Yeah, she was. It was great. The production side of it was phenomenal. I've never seen that SoCal Val before, but she was. I really enjoyed her. She was doing like almost kind of a pantomime villain character, introducing each match and kind of telling the story.
And trashing me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Valerie.
She was cool though, man.
Yeah,
I thought she was really fucking. I don't think you saw a lot of the stuff she was doing, but she was really slick and polished. She didn't have any lines, but everything she did was fucking on the mark, telling the story about each match and the stats and everything. It was pretty impressive.
And she smelled really nice too.
I didn't get that close to her, but she, from what I could see, she was doing a hell of a job, and really, really impressed with her. I thought the production was. That's got to be the. I mean, I've done some phenomenal shows in the UK, but to me, that was the best production I've seen on a European show by a long shot.
Oh yeah, to be honest, the way the studio looked, it was as good as NXT.
Yeah,
if not nicer. It was just slick.
It was so plush.
Everything about it was beautiful.
It was so plush. It really was a hell of a shot in the arm for British wrestling, that was, and I can't see that being topped, if I'm honest. And it's really, really great. The lineup was awesome. I got to spend a lot of time with a lot of really cool people. We're going to be bringing you interviews over the next couple of weeks from people who stopped in to chat to me for Stiff Right Hand. Obviously, the first one we had to do was with Saraya Knight, because she's the lady of the hour. She, seeing as Bellatrix was her show, I thought it would be rude not to get time for her, and so I've got to have a really good half an hour sit down with Jules and shoot the breeze. We've known each other for, I've known Julia for nearly 23 years now, since I got into the job, and she has looked after me on various times in my career and helped me out hugely, and so it was lovely to sit down and talk to her on a one-to-one level about everything. So that's going to be coming up later on. Also, we've got our show coming up October the 21st. We are just starting to put the finishing touches to all the promotional sides of that. But last week we had an interesting week, didn't we? We filmed a web promo.
Yeah. The abandoned asylum.
Yeah, we got access to a crazy old abandoned asylum in Hastings, thanks to my mate Dan Hicks, who's a local photographer and lunatic. And he,
but what a great guy.
Dan's awesome, man. He's a hell of a character. He's just a wonderful guy, Dan, and he got us access into this. It was an old respiratory unit and also a children's psychiatric unit, and we went to go in there to film a piece with the new faction chasing you around the building.
Well, spoilers a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's kind of everyone knows what the deal is and what's going on and what's been alluded to, I think. But the whole point of it, we've done quite a few decent.
I was being chased.
Well,
I was being chased
because you're my Sherry Moon zombie.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Is
that why my arse is being filmed the entire time?
Nepotism running wild.
That's how you get a push point.
There you go. But it was something, but it just seemed right. We've done. I mean, we did the Wild West one, which was, I'm so proud of. That was
beautiful, and the Victorian.
I did one in the Victorian house. We did the Babes in the Wood one. We've done some awesome little mini movie-ettes, but this one was really cool. It's only short, but tell us a little bit about that place, because
it was bizarre. The moment you walk in there, the quality of the air changes, and it becomes very dense and heavy, and it kind of stinks. And also doesn't smell of anything all at the same time. It's so weird. And it is both loud and silent. Yes,
that's really true. That's a really good description, yeah.
Because just remember, we walked up the staircase anyway, and there's this bizarre things written on the walls. It was just I told you. Actually, we didn't write that on the walls. That was
yes, right. I told you so.
Yeah,
just before you get to a corner.
Yeah, and we
and it was like, fuck this.
And also, just the layout was staggering because there were corners and dead corridors where there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
And everywhere led back to the central location.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
And there was shit.
Warren.
There was one bit where it looked like tar or shit smeared across the wall.
Yeah, there was a weird. There was children's toys everywhere.
There was
abandoned children's.
There was a tricycle. There was an old air freshener hanging up, blowing in the wind. But the thing that was the weirdest of all, I thought,
the room. So you go up the stairs, and it's just silent, thick, heavy, silent air. You go up the stairs, and then it just comes into this room that looks out over the sea.
Oh, yeah.
And it's bright. And you've just been in this claggy, just dense darkness. All of a sudden, you walk out into this room that is so bright with the sun.
Almost a circular room with the whole sea.
It's like a goldfish with the whole sea around you and just the wind roaring off the sea through this room. And it's fucking deafening. So you go from deafening silence to deafening loudness, and it was
nuts.
It was absolutely
because the windows were all broken, and it was a really windy day, and it was like, whoa, all of nature all at once colliding. It was intense, man.
And doors, with so many doors that don't go anywhere, doors that don't open, doors that open to nothing.
And Dan cheerfully said, he said, it's ironic this used to be a respiratory hospital, and this is all full of asbestos. Oh, cheers, Dan. Thanks, buddy. But no, that was the what price we pay for our art.
Yeah.
But it was the basement was the steps down into the basement into nothingness was just.
Well, we were going down the steps into the basement, and I'm calling shenanigans on this right now because I didn't hear this fully grown man and a dog. I was there was just a red light that caught my eye, and I saw a fully grown man and a fucking Rottweiler walk past, but they made no noise.
They made no noise at all, but they were obviously guarding the place.
Well, I just were they? Because nobody else fucking heard them. It was just creepy.
I didn't hear them, but I saw them, and I saw the dog was the size of a fucking bear. It was huge, but they were obviously guarding the place, but it was.
What are they guarding it from?
I don't know, but it was weird.
There was definitely something going on there.
It was weird, man. It was really weird.
I'm quite open-minded when it comes to stuff like that, and I'm not into all these fucking ghost watching and trying to catch them on cameras and stuff. But I believe that there's residual echoes from terrible things. I think energy can be absorbed into.
Yeah.
And that place had some fucking stories to tell.
Oh, I believe places absorb places absorb energy, for sure. I've been into places that just feel wrong.
When you walk down into that basement and it was just like all of those barred windows, and then there was just that puddle and the ceiling had collapsed. That one room.
The basement didn't bother me too much. It was the higher up the building we went, where it actually got brighter, was the creeper I found, because there were all these horrible dull pastel walls, and then everything.
Oh, the room with the curtains.
Well, there were several. There wasn't just one. There was 2 or 3 where everything was fucked. You got bat shit, pigeon shit, dead flies everywhere. But then a random perfect set of curtains, almost hand tied and completely unspoiled. Like, what the fuck?
Perfectly preserved wallpaper.
Yeah,
that must have been there for decades.
It was weird.
So weird.
It was very strange. But we filmed that, and I got that all edited up and put out, and it's had a pretty good response, I think. But just the fact that we filmed it there just lent an awful lot of creepiness to the whole thing, I think, to the whole project. But it was cool. So yeah, we got a month to go till our show. Please get down to that. That's going to be at the Sussex Coast College again, at Hastings, and it's going to be a hell of a show. We've got a bit of the big lineup announced. Pretty much every match so far. Well, I think we've got another 2 or 3 matches to announce, but they're all up there on Facebook on the Extreme World Wrestling page.
So if you feel like coming down to that, tickets are available from Hastings Tourist Information, from my place, Scarlett's Cafe in Battle, or you can just check out online our web store at eww-wrestling.com and just get them sent through the post, and that's quite a nice cheeky way of going about it.
That was very slick, that. Brilliant.
Right,
I'm glad you're here for that, because one of my stupid stuttering idiot, I mean. I don't know, I've got nothing.
You're right.
Yeah, no, I'm having an episode. Okay. But no, back to the show. We spent some time with Scott Hall.
That was fucking cool.
We're going to be bringing that to you over the next couple of weeks. That was awesome.
It's always nice hanging out with Scott backstage, because he works as
sometimes.
No, just like his own cranky, and
he's great with you, but he's. I always struggle to contend with Scott a bit, because
I think that's just alpha male. Like,
yeah, we kind of end up rubbing willies together and sort of butting heads and punching each other in the dick quite a lot.
To you and John,
he's a wonderful. I respect him thoroughly. I love his company. But I think we both, we didn't have to get off to the best starts with each other, but.
I think you just misunderstood each other, maybe.
I think we did, but he sat down with me and we put things right, and we had a really, really interesting conversation. So that's going to be coming up in the next week or 2. And then, of course, we had the guys' show last night. Mm-hmm. So it was Team EWW, which is AWOL, myself and my partner Titan, against the Sigma boys, which I can't remember their names. I know.
It's Hallows.
Morning Star.
And Phantom.
Morning Star, roll up.
Read all about it.
35p.
Dominic's just punched you in the head.
Princess Diana's dead again. 35p. Morning Star.
That was pretty good.
It was alright.
Loads of fun out there.
It wasn't my favourite match, I'll be honest. I felt it was a bit lumbering and heavy, but then we're all fucking enormous, I suppose. So it was never going to be anything classic, but it was fun. But it wasn't my favourite match I've had up there.
That's what it's about, isn't it? You got your shot on TV, just have some fun with it.
Yeah, it was, like
you
I say...
You weren't there to do a technical masterclass, you were there to lump other big guys in the head, and you did.
And
I shouted at you.
Yes.
Because you were lumping guys in the head for too long.
It's never too long. It's never too long and never hard enough for my liking. But, so let's have it. I got time to sit down it was after the Bellatrix show and before the men's show last night. I got to sit down with sweet Saraya Knight, the matriarch of the Knight family, and spend a good half an hour in her company. So we're going to bring that to you now. Here we go. Right, welcome to Stiff Right Hand. I'm Stu Allen. I'm here with the matriarch of the famous and infamous Knight family, Saraya Knight.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
I've got my husky voice on.
So it's fucking wonderful.
I sound like a dirty 089 sex line.
It works for me. Look at you all dolled up.
I'm not dolled up. Do you know, right, well, probably the jacket.
Christ almighty.
The jacket is a bit classy, but, this is cheap shit.
None of you can see this. She's all done up in like an adamant-style jacket with a wonderful throbbing cleavage.
Yeah, I've got tits now.
I know, they're bloody marvellous. But this is hot on the heels of last night's phenomenal Bellatrix show that you did in conjunction with Shimmer and Rise. In my opinion, that was the best one of the lot. How do you feel coming off the back of that?
Well, I'm tired. I mean, that's one thing that, I'll probably kind of take it all in on Monday, because that's when the world stops for a second. But we had the best house we've ever had. We had well over 300 people in here. We were bringing out chairs. We actually made the room smaller because we weren't expecting that many. But I actually had a bit of a cry downstairs. I'm not gonna lie. When some of the guys turned around, they went, "Have you seen the queue?" And I've gone, "Queue?" So I've kind of gone through the doors and looked up, and it was just tailing back. And for a women's show,
it was mental.
It was that they just kept coming, and it was, and my family, my sister and all my family were down there, and there were so many people that made a lot of effort and travelled many miles just to kind of get a glimpse and to be scared shitless by Sigma. I think Sigma genuinely just
Sigma was awesome. From, as you know, that I love my horror shit, and I know you're always keen to come out and have a look at my face to see what I think of it. And I'll tell you what, that thing, to me, the background with that forest entrance with Sam standing there and the fire, it was awesome.
Well, to be honest,
it was very clever.
I mean, everyone that knows me knows that I'm a psychological horror freak.
Yes.
And I do love my old school horror. And if you're really up on your horror films, you'll see The Conjuring, you'll see Zombie Apocalypse, you will see The Forest, The Forest, the Japanese horror film.
Yeah.
The Exorcist was in there. There was traits of The Exorcist. So you'll see that I am a horror film buff, and you'll see, and especially in the Sigma entrance, you'll see that there is a lot to do with my love and passion for
I love the fact that this has all come out now, because for years we've been following and obviously coming to your Bellatrix shows, and this stuff's only started coming out fairly recently. You've started really releasing your dark side.
Well, I'm going to be straight with you, and I'll explain what went on. About 2.5 years ago, I approached my husband and my son and said, "Look, I've had an idea for quite a while of creating a faction, but unlike any other faction. The people that are different, people that don't fit in, people that have got characters and gimmicks that are quite dark, I think we should kind of put them all together."
All your misfits.
And all the freaks and geeks, as Saraya says. And I wouldn't say they poo-pooed the idea, but they poo-pooed the idea. And they created another faction that was with Kendo, and they called it Dojo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it worked for a little bit, and it didn't really work. And then I was kind of getting really gutted because I really, really wanted to do these entrances and the powerful entrances and bring the emotion of the crowd into the entrance and make the crowd part of it. And it was driving me insane. Yeah. Well, then one day I kind of woke up and I thought, hang on a fucking minute. I own Bellatrix. I got my own company.
Right.
What the fuck is stopping me from doing this shit? So that's when I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it as I want it. Dip my toe in the water, see if what's been going around my head for so long works. Do the good old-fashioned God versus the devil, angels and demons. And then it was then coming up with a name. And I love Latin. That's where Bellatrix came from. Oh, that's my phone.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's where the name Bellatrix came from. I put in a Latin name for female warriors. Came up as Bellatrix. So then I put in Latin word for misfit, not belonging, everything. Come up as Sigma. And then when I saw the sign with the, it's like half an hourglass.
Yep.
And I saw the sign. And then when I read into what the word Sigma means, it literally means not of the norm, freaks and geeks, that sort of thing. Well, that's a perfect collective. And the nice thing about Sigma and the Angelics is that they're a base for any person to come through.
Yes.
Because it's a worldwide thing. So I can bring anyone from the world that has that sort of dark side or gimmick and make them, for everyone because everyone in Sigma is involved in that entrance.
It's very easy to follow and all-encompassing storyline, isn't it?
Well, I did share because we had a lot of people in the crowd that were shit scared. We had screaming.
I actually saw a girl last night. I've never seen it before. She actually had to be physically held down because she was shitting herself. And we're not talking a young girl. We're talking a girl in their 20s.
Well, when the zombies start coming over the bleachers and coming through the crowds, and
yeah.
I spent a lot of money on costumes.
I can fucking see that.
And it's and to be honest, like last night,
it reminded me of Cats on steroids, as in the Andrew Lloyd Webber production.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, what I loved about it was when Annabelle was stood there, and Blink was another horror film. So it was Annabelle was there, Blink. Then the nun from Conjuring was stood behind Annabelle. Straight away, that was, and I heard the ripple from the crowd, and that was on the second person in. I'm thinking, fucking hell.
Yeah.
There's so much to come yet. And then when Dreadful Penny came into the scene and recited her, her poem, and then it all started coming, people actually saw, because there was a gap in the curtains at the back, they actually saw the zombies, but the fair play to the zombies, they all come out as zombies. So all of a sudden, the people on the bleachers turned around and saw this influx of zombies, and they saw the curtain moving, and then people were screaming, chairs were falling over, people were trying to get out the way, but there was nowhere they could go.
It was pretty wild.
And the mummy coming out the coffin, and to see my vision that I've had in my head for so long come out was just truly a dream.
For me, I love it just because I share that with you, and it's lovely to see that you're embracing that wholeheartedly, and I always thoroughly enjoyed some of your other projects that you did before when you came to EWW and brought your other incarnation down there.
Yeah.
And I've always got to pop out of that character, and I always thought that was awesome. But I want to talk to you about Bellatrix, because funnily enough, there was another female wrestling promoter here last night called Declan Kellett, and I said to him, I'm glad you've come down. You can see how a fucking women's promotion should be done.
Oh, bless.
And bless him, he just smiled. What else are you going to fucking...
That's British Empire Wrestling.
Yeah.
Runs British Empire.
That's right. But, I mean, to me, this is the pinnacle. This is where it's at. I'm not just saying that because Tan's involved in it. I'm saying it because I've never seen a setup like this. I don't honestly believe this can be topped. How do you feel about that?
Well, yes, because I was up till stupid o'clock this morning, and I've already figured out the entrances for next time, and Sigma is going to be even more scary because I'm adding some stuff to that which is going to blow people's minds. And as for the Angelics, there is something very special in the line for that, because that entrance is going to be huge next time.
Excellent. Tell me about your collaboration with Medusa, because for me, on a personal level, seeing you two walk out together last night, that was quite a highlight.
Oh, to be honest, me and her were friends first. And that's what I love about it, because she's not trying to lick me arsehole clean because she wants to be part of a production that I've got. You dirty bastard. I was going to say cunt, but I won't say cunt.
Oh, you go for it.
But to be honest, like, we've done a lot of meet and greets together. We're known for being a bit twattish when we're together. Mia and Vicky Guerrero are kind of, the gruesome threesome when we're together. She's come here, she's seen it, she loves it, she wants to be part of it. She's already said to me, I'd like to work here. I'd like to wrestle here.
Wow.
And it's like, all right, but not yet. Let's see what happens over the next year. Let's see what we can muster up.
I think a lot of people would pop for that.
And I think me and Medusa squaring off, it would be a highlight of my career. Because you've got to remember.
And that's saying something too, isn't it?
My heroes in wrestling, Sensational Sherry, was always like a huge star to me. Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
Even Miss Elizabeth, the way she used to work the crowd and her emotion and her facials, to me, used to be...
Well, you always used to remind me of her when I first ever met you.
To be honest, the Saraya Knight character was... You got me when I started as a manager.
Yeah.
So the demureness of Miss Elizabeth, the evilness of Sensational Sherry, and the craziness of Luna Vachon, and those three women are what I used to draw my interpretation of what I needed to be. And then, because I've had kind of a rough background, you got to remember, I ain't no one's victim, but I was when I was a kid. So I kind of, in my persona as Saraya Knight, don't fuck with me, kid. I'll rip your fucking head off and piss down your neck. And please don't make me question that, because I'll fucking do it just for fun. And it's a lot to do with my background that I've taken that into the ring. And, that's where Saraya Knight was actually initially born. It's a bad childhood and three amazing superheroes. But then when we come to Medusa, I always looked up to her because to me, she was the one that started the women's revolution. I mean, you had Mae Young, you had those girls beforehand, but Medusa was so versatile and so good and strong style. To me, she was the number one, you know, and I do think that my daughter does remind me so much of her. Even though you can see a lot of me and the other family in her, I do believe that Medusa should be an icon for every single female wrestler out there.
I totally agree.
And it's just really cool that she's one of my best friends.
Well, it was wonderful seeing that last night. We all stood up. Yeah, it was a genuine spine-tingling moment seeing you both come out there, because from both different sides of the pond, you've done so much for women's wrestling. It was all just awesome to see. I don't know if you listened to my earlier podcasts, Jules, but I wanted to talk about your relationship with my wife.
Oh, my baby.
And
satanic little.
And I wanted to
satanic baby.
To say to you, I don't truly know if you, you know, if you do understand how much that you have done for her. And I would say that you're very instrumental in her wrestling upbringing.
Thank you.
Well, you are.
Well,
and
to be honest, there has to be just a spark to create a flame. And your missus, Scarlett, she's one of the loyalest girls I have around me, both personally and professionally. What I like about her is that if she's unhappy, she'll pull me aside, look me in the eye, and she's not frightened to upset me. But if she upsets me, it's down to ego. So, you know, if she says, look, like there was one time and she went, Mama, I'm going to stale. I just feel as if I'm here treading water. I don't know what you're doing with me. I don't know where to go. I've given you my loyalty now for 8 years. You know, I've done everything you've ever asked of me. I just need you to sit down with me and just tell me where I'm going, where you want me to go, how you want me to improve. So, because you never, even though we sit and we talk, you never tell me the ideas that you have for me. And I just need to know if you have any ideas, because if you haven't, I need to branch out. I need to do something. And she looked me square in the eye to say it. And that wasn't an ego. That wasn't two wrestlers. That was two mates sitting there talking, saying, I feel lost. I don't know where I am. Please tell me what you need me to do for me to step up. But what she didn't realise, and I should have told her, is that girl had been holding up the bottom and midsection of the Bellatrix roster for the last 5 years, and she'd done it single-handedly. And sometimes, as a promoter, when you've got someone that is exceptionally good at a job, you tend to overlook them for the people that are being cunts, because they take up your time. They constantly take up your time. So you tend to overlook the ones that are being loyal and that are being good, because you're all the time trying to wrestle with egos of people that really don't deserve your time.
It's the same pair of hands.
Yeah, I know that if I put her on with anybody, that girl would go out and do her shit. I never had to worry about her.
Yeah.
So I just let her run with the ball because I could trust her to do it. But then I never thought of the flip side of the coin of how it affected her and where she was mentally, because all she felt she was doing was getting girls through, having to get girls through, having to be teacher training every single match. And yeah, she stayed in that role too long, but I trusted her with it. But sometimes as a promoter, it's not about the self-indulgence of a show. It's not about patting yourself on the back when everything comes around. It's about noticing the ones that aren't kicking off backstage, that aren't full of ego, the quiet ones in the corner that just turn around and go, yes, ma'am, that's what I'm doing. You've got to go up to them. You've got to put your arm around them and say, do you know, you're doing a fucking good job. And sometimes as a promoter, as much as I try and do it, I get sidetracked and my life is so busy that it was a very important lesson after that conversation I did have with Dan that made it was a lesson learned, and I learn lessons every day. And she taught me that sometimes it's more about the production and being mama to the girls. Sometimes you've got to take a girl aside and make them feel as if they're doing something right, instead of expecting them because you know they will and just letting them run with the ball. And this was what, how long has she been champion? She's been champion for over 800 days. And it was about 3 or 4 months before that I decided, but I'd already decided Bellatrix 13 was going to be a show built around Scarlett. But I never told her because I don't. But it had to be Bellatrix 13 because of her character and the way she is. But if I'd sat that girl down and go, girl, wait till 13, it would have taken it away.
Yes,
and I nearly
100%.
lost her because I didn't sit down with her and say, you're doing good. These are the plans I've got with you. Stay with me, kid. I promise you, you're in my thoughts. I never done that. So she taught me sometimes just to sit back and treat each person individually, and sometimes they do need to be told they're doing a good job.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I always felt, from a promoter's point of view, that you put in, it was a very intelligent move from yourself in a almost babysitting point of view, that she was bringing up some of your girls. But in turn,
she was the best one to do that.
But in turn, like I say, I do feel you've been very instrumental in bringing her up as well, and putting her on with Mercedes Martinez last night was a huge compliment.
She's ready to move up a level.
It was an enormous compliment, and I've struggled the last few weeks getting her head in again, because she didn't want to protect. She didn't want to say she was fucking nervous, but I know she fucking was.
She came up to me and she went, "Mama, I'm shitting myself." And I went, "The day that you stop shitting yourself, darling, is the day you need to hang up."
Damn right.
And to be fair to her, the beginning of the match, you could see she was like, "Oh my God!" But then once she settled. I mean, I've had quite a few people on Twitter turn around and saying that was definitely one of the top 3 matches on the whole card.
Yeah.
And we had some serious talent on that card last night.
It was a hell of a...
And she stood out. She done good. She held her own. As I've just gone across, had a chat with her, and I said, "Sweetheart, this is your step up, and now it goes up from here. I'm not going to tell you I'm bringing her in for December. She will be on the bill. I'm not going to tell her. I'm going to, let her anticipate. But no longer is she holding up a segment of a roster. Now she's made herself a star because of how she coped with the job she had to do. She just didn't realise how important she was to Bellatrix. Wow. And I think she does now.
I think she does now. That's very, very kind. I won't keep too much longer, Jules. I know you've got a lot to do, but I do want to... it wouldn't be stiff right hand if I didn't ask you about your daughter.
My beautiful girl.
She's obviously a great friend of ours, and she's, the light of your life. She's done huge things again for British wrestling, and, everyone who knows her is so fucking proud of her.
Well, the thing is, she's up there. And anybody that is that high up and that well known, the bad stuff is easier to believe than the good stuff. And, the girl has been dragged over the coals. She's been, without going into too much detail, there's been quite a lot of people that will go out there and want to jump on her. They're waiting for her. Wait for her to say the wrong thing. Wait for her to do the wrong thing.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, how do you cope personally? Because I've seen some of the shit that you have to ping-pong back and forth on Twitter with people, and it's hard for me as a friend of yours to see it. How do you maintain your strong business head and your head as a mother?
To be honest, we've learnt the hard way that dignified silence is a lot more infectious than batting your corner.
Absolutely.
And that's what we do. Anything personally, we won't talk about because it's no one's business. I don't go into the punters' houses. I want to know who they're banging, who their mother's having an affair with, who their dad's sucking off. I'm not interested in that side of things. But because she's so high up, everyone feels that they know her because she was the accessible diva. But the thing is, my daughter has proven she's not perfect. And I'm so proud of her for that. Because as soon as she says, and her head is in the game, thinking that she's the most perfect thing in the world, she ain't my daughter no more. Because anybody learns by mistakes. And if you feel you can't make them, then your ego is bigger than your talent. So I'm proud of her. I'm proud of the way she's handled herself. I'm proud of the way that she's still handling herself. And she'll always be my little girl. There was one situation. I was in Liverpool. And I got in the ring and I was on against a young girl. And 3 moves in, I had a guy and by the stage that said some obscene stuff about my daughter. Well, that makes it personal. You're coming into my private life. I'm here entertaining you. I've travelled all the way to Liverpool.
Fuck yeah.
I've got our fighters at the back. I've had to travel and drive all the way up
need that
there
shit.
to put my body on the line to entertain you. I'm in full character, and you've got the audacity to shout something personal at me. So I stopped what I was doing. I got out the ring, threatened to rip his head off and piss down his neck. But I'd done it on a one-on-one basis, so I made it personal to him.
Damn right.
I got back in the ring, and I saw a group of guys, and they were cajoling one of them, and I could hear, even in the ring, "Go on, say it. Go on, I dare you. Go on, say it." And in my head I'm going, "Fucking say it. I fucking dare you." And he did. Another personal jibe at myself and my family. So I stopped what I was doing, grabbed the referee, turned around and shouted, "Go and get me a fucking tool, you mug." Threw him out of the ring. He ran backstage. I then got out of the ring went over the barriers. And if it wasn't for a very quick-witted security guard, I would have shoved my fist down this guy's throat and pulled out his arsehole through his neck.
Fucking good.
But the thing is, people listening to this will turn around and they'll go, well, that's fucking out of order. Who the fuck does she think she is? She can't, have a famous daughter, be a famous family, or, go out there and try to make a name for herself and not take the rough for the smooth. I'll take the rough for the smooth, mate. I've done it all my fucking life. I've got no problem with that. But if I'm out there and I'm doing I am Saraya Knight. You don't know Julia. You don't know me as a mum. You don't know me as a grandmother. You don't know me as a nanny. Don't slag my family to me. Just don't do it. I don't mind, we done another show and this person in the crowd went, when your husband and son comes out, I'm going to smack him in the mouth. Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because what am I going to do? I was before them. I'm going to go backstage, tell them what's been said, get them on their guard so they've got a 360 vision, point out where the people were sitting, what happened, turn around, the guy jumped up, smacked Zach in the back of the head. Of all of them, he took the biggest fucking one, and he was 5'8" in a dog end. Do you know what I mean? And you get out of your seat and you punch my son in the head. What the fuck do you think's going to happen from that? What do you think's going to happen?
Wow.
So it all kicked off. Everything went mad. The Knight family got a bad reputation. Everything was going fucking nuts. And it was like, hang on a minute. He got out of his seat, come over the barrier, as my son was walking away, punched him in the back of the head. What the fuck do you think's
What
going to
are you
happen?
going to do? What are you going to do?
What, are you going to stand by?
No.
If you're in a nightclub having a boogie and someone comes out and punches you in the back of the head, what are you going to do?
No one worth their salt's going to take that.
So, we take shit. We take the rough for the smooth. We know there's people out there that don't like us. We don't give a shit.
It must kill you because, like I say, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you. Also, you looked after me when I first got into it. 2 decades later, you've done the same for my wife. I've seen you give up your home for people. You have people who move down here just to be with you. People, waifs and strays who would never have a chance to do fuck all if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, but the thing is, everyone deserves a chance.
But you give people a chance, and that's people listening to this who have got something to say about the Knights. Please fucking think twice about who you're dealing with.
I like the doubters. I like the haters. I don't mind them, Stu. Because in every way of life, you're going to have people that like you, people that don't that love you, like you, tolerate you, hate you. That's what makes the world go round. That fuels my passion to prove them wrong. I've got no problem with that.
But people need to know what the good, all the good that you've done.
The nasty stuff is so much easier to believe than the good.
It's all right for people like me and Tom because we can pick up wrestling and put it down when we feel. But you can't. You live with wrestling all day, all night.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And the fact that you still, after all these years and everything you've been through, still stay so infectious and still give all these fans so much, I think is incredible. And so thank you.
No problem,
Steve. And on a day like today, which is such a thank you for taking time out to talk to me. I really
my
appreciate
darling,
that.
It's always a pleasure. And I've got to say, just for the record, your family and my family are connected.
Damn right.
And when, if I don't like you, or I don't want to be around you, or I get a bad vibe off you, I will completely ignore you. And that's one thing I can never do with you, your wife, or like Titan and AOL. I mean, those guys, I do step back from a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're your friends and everything, and they are our employees, but they're always respectful. They always know the right way and the wrong way. And when to
if you ever need us, we'll be fucking
You and Tom have always been at our right hand. And I just want to say thank you for that we appreciate
and we always
that.
Will be.
And you always know where we are if you need us.
Bless
the
you.
Knight family will always be there for you.
Bless you. Lovely. Thank you ever so much.
I love you too, my
Thank you, darling.
Big hugs, big man.
Thank you so much.
We love you. See you later, people.
Thank you, Jules.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you, sweet babe.
No worries.
Means a lot.
We'll see if we can get Zach and the boys to
That'd be amazing.
come and do something
Thank
too.
you, darling. Love you to pieces. Right, so that's the first time you've heard that interview with Saraya Knight, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts? And why are you eating again? It's not mandatory that every time you come on this fucking pod, I just showed her a message from, and someone that said, "Oh, it's nice that she was eating what's it?" And she said, "Oh, what can I eat this time?"
What am I eating this time?
Marshmallows.
I am fucking eating marshmallows. I'm eating happy mallows, and they're the happiest marshmallows in the world. Other marshmallows are available. Fuck the other marshmallows.
Fuck the other marshmallows. Tell these are Tom, my friend, and
they're Sam's marshmallows.
Yeah, Sam's marshmallows, and he makes these. and we sell them at our shop, and they're brilliant.
Yeah, come and buy them from my shop or from happymallows.co.uk.
There you go. Pause the cause, so it doesn't mean you have to fucking eat them on air.
Oh, God.
But yeah, what was your thought? Oh no, come on, it's annoying. Fuck's sake. Really fucking aggravating.
It's called a comfort food.
That's the thing. What did you think of the interview I did with Julia?
The thing is with Julia Saraya is that she doesn't get the credit she deserves for the things that she does for the girls, and it really fucking pisses me off actually when some girls just fucking throw everything back at her because, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, and because, you know, she will make sure that they walk before they run. And a lot of the time, people that get into the business for the wrong reasons because, you know, they want it to be all about themselves rather than the bigger picture or whatever, or putting on a show or like what they're getting out of it. And that's always going to happen. She doesn't deserve that. But she has been very instrumental in my upbringing and my career, and it's made me really emotional to hear all those things back because, you know, she's never been the one to blow smoke up my arse, neither of you, and it's just, I don't know, I just found it really affirming.
Blowing everything's up your arse.
Well, yeah, I just found it really affirming, and Julia, you're the fucking best. I love you.
She's excellent, and she's been very instrumental in your upbringing, and the Knights, their shows keep getting better and better. If you haven't seen them, get to one live. If you can't get to one live, go see them on Fight TV. It's the next best thing. Also, we have had to just watch your match back with Mercedes Martinez. How did you feel about watching that back?
Oh, I was really pissed off with myself. I knew that the first 2 minutes I was bollocks, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I really, really liked it, actually. I never ever watch my matches and like, oh, I really like that. But it was just great, and it was just, it just felt like it was the right match for the occasion. She got in some fucking nasty stuff, so did I, and the venue and the production and everything just looked great, so I was really happy.
It was a slow burner, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it had to be, because it was like champion versus champion. Like, well, I was going to go out there and get bumped around. It would have been silly.
The finish was fucking awesome. Well, I was certainly well proud of it, and so well done there.
Thanks.
Also sad to hear about the death of Bobby Heenan.
The weasel himself.
He probably wasn't as instrumental in your life as he was in mine, but he was the greatest manager of all time. Absolutely incredible. I say if you're managed by Bobby Heenan, you're a fucking you're top of the bill, and just all of his little just his so apparently he was a guy who could do anything. He could do everything. He could work. I mean, he used to take some ridiculous bumps. He had a great mind for the business. He was a great writer. He was great. He was a phenomenal manager, and like I said, his comedy skits. Yeah, everyone talks about things like, you know, he came up backwards on the camera at WrestleMania 9, but years before that, just his weird little things he used to do to the camera. He used to back up against the camera and then turn around and just everyone sneaking up behind him and shit like that. It was absolutely amazing. And apparently he was a real shit for playing pranks on people, and used to get Japanese tourists outside Caesar's Palace, and they'd say, oh, you know, back in the day before digital cameras, like, oh, could you take a picture of me, please, Mr. Heenan? And he'd go and take a picture of them and cut their heads off, and outside, you know, the giant waterfall and places that, you know, people could never possibly have their pictures taken again and fuck it up for them and that. So, yeah, rest in peace, Bobby Heenan. And what else? I'm getting fed up to.
Well, should we do a cunt of the week before you go into the fed up? Let's make them the cunt of the week.
Do you fancy a game of hide and seek? No, fuck that shit. It's cunt of the week.
Yes.
Well, cunt of the week this week. It's not even a specific cunt of the week, this one. Well, it kind of is. It's been posted by a guy called Darian Stratton from Bristol, Tennessee.
Isn't it a girl?
I think it's his girlfriend's called Nicole. And he started up a fundraiser on GoFundMe. Other
funding websites are available.
Are they? Yeah. I don't know. I've never used them. I don't ever intend to use them unless my house gets destroyed in a nasty sofa fire.
Tell them about the cunt of the week.
Nicole has worked so hard to be offered an amazing opportunity to further her career in the cutthroat sport of professional wrestling. She just needs some support from her family, friends and fans. to help her get there and pay for a room, food, and a few other necessities. Please take a second to donate whatever you can, even $5 would help, in her quest to become a professional wrestler. Fuck you, cunt!
I just want to say, if we're getting that shit subsidised now, I will take a back payment. So
yeah, fuck, so will I. Jesus Christ, I had to
I'm going to guess that she's
work
not
my
very good.
fucking arse off to get to the States. Everyone's like, oh, you got to train in the States. Yeah, I had to work my fucking arse off. I had to work my fucking arse off. I was given no handouts, nothing to get to the States, because that was the wrestling school I chose to go to at the time. There weren't wrestling schools on every street corner like there are now, and it was the one that I chose because it was Adrian fucking Street, and it was the best wrestling school, and it still is. And
that Skull Crushers?
Skull Crushers Wrestling School in Pensacola, Florida. One of the best times of my life, and I had to fucking work for it. I had to train with Adrian, get my ass kicked 3 times a fucking day, and these cunts spend it paid for. Literally, I hope your plane crashes in the sea. I hope your family die in a fucking nasty car crash, and I despise every single one of you. Anyone who uses GoFundMe to fund whether it is a fucking a plane journey, buy wrestling gear, whatever. You've lost already. If you haven't got the fucking heart and determination to get out there, I don't care what it takes. If it's cleaning a toilet, doing whatever it fucking takes. If you haven't got the heart and determination to do that, it's when people say to me, "Oh, I want to be a wrestler." Well, you know, where is it? Oh, it's in Hastings. Oh, you know, I live in Brighton. Fuck you, motherfucker. You know, some of my first ever wrestling shows, I was travelling 300-400 miles in a beaten up Volvo, and which was catching fire on the way fucking home. You know, if you haven't got the tenacity or the, you know, to get out there and fucking travel. If you travelling's the main part of wrestling, you dumb fuck. If you can't get out there and do that, then it's game over straight away. And these cunts doing GoFundMe, and I see a lot of these promotions now. In Japan, I know Stardom for sure are fucking one of them, and I know some promotions in the States, and Australia are fucking are taking on male and female wrestlers, if they're, you know, and getting them to pay their own way. If you're doing that, fuck you, you're poison, you're cancer, and that's all I've got to say about that. Go on, over to you.
Well, I just think you need to just assess what side of the barriers you actually should be set on, because it's not Make-A-Wish wrestling, and you certainly cannot go backstage and lord it over the guys and girls with like, oh, I've been to Japan, if you've paid and begged your way to be there. Also, the GoFundMe thing actually fucking staggered me, because to start with, within the business are just like, you have to be broke, you have to fucking scrimp and save for your gear, you have to take the pain, you have to pay your dues, and you have to fucking travel. Like, nobody goes from fucking starting in the business to John Cena overnight. Okay, like, nobody fucking does that. And to think that you can fucking shortcut by just like telling a sob story on a fucking website and getting everyone to pay your fucking way for you, it's just fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it's disrespectful. Don't fucking dare insult your brothers and sisters by doing that.
And they are doing it, and they're doing it all the fucking time. I put a thing out on Facebook tonight saying, you know, if you're doing GoFundMe, go fuck yourself. And that's not for people who've lost shit in the fucking Texas fucking storms and all this. And this is for people who are getting or aspiring to get into or are already in the pro wrestling business. If you're using GoFundMe, fuck off. Just seriously, fuck off, die. And all your family too. Fuck you all. And that's the end of that. And on that rather fucking angry note, so the cunt of the week is that cunt. I can't remember her name now.
Anyone that uses GoFundMe to progress within the wrestling business. Did you get that business? No, wrestling charity.
Oh, you know, for fuck's sake, you know, for fuck's sake, you know, if that's what you're talking, if that's what you're fucking talking about, you might as well get your fucking gear and fucking go on now, kid. Johnny Storm share pencils, one button.
Thanks, Brian Dixon. Yeah, just, it's a business. Don't fucking be a cunt. You guys are the cunts of the week.
They're all cunts.
They're super cunts. They're like a whole bag of cunts with cunt sprinkles.
Anyway, on that note...
No, I want to talk about the cunts.
I've talked enough about cunts, eat some more marshmallows.
Okay.
So on that note, that's all from Stiff Right Hand this week. Next week, we've got a very good episode coming up. We've got an interview with Kip Sabian, the up-and-coming high flyer, and the the wholesome man of British wrestling, Doug Williams.
Not dazzling Doug Williams.
Dazzling. He is dazzling, isn't he?
He is. He's very
He got
dazzling.
shit canned in the locker room, didn't he?
He was very drunk.
He was fucking shit canned.
And don't forget, hashtag Doug Williams broke my vagina. T-shirts coming soon to EWWWrestling.com.
Coming soon, t-shirt. You think Benoit Club's good? You wait to see Doug Williams broke my cunt t-shirt. So that's all from this week. Thank you to my wife.
You're welcome.
And thank you very much for listening. This has been Sniff Right Hand. Thank you. Toodle pip.
Thanks.